Okay, good morning everybody. It's Paul Harrison here from my new offices in Putney, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, I might not be as loud and explosive as I was previously because I'm working with other people today as well, so you've got to be conscientious of that. Alright, so firstly, thanks for submitting your stocks. Secondly, let's get into it. HRS, Hotel Romeo Sierra. We've got some support around about the $45–70 mark. A pretty reasonable range on that. Let's go and have a look. Pretty heavy sell-off on Wednesday. Yesterday, and put a nice little doji in there. No major issues with that. Then we have Delta Umbrella Kilo. It's Delta Umbrella Kilo. And some reasonable resistance around about the 69.50 mark. I think it's sold off a little bit yesterday, so I don't know whether that would be your 1% if you were actually going to use that as a stop order to get into the trade. Something to review. RGA. Again, some resistance at around about the $60 mark. I would, sticking to the rules, you're going to have to use that as your stop loss. So I don't know quite how that's going to affect your ratios there, because that's a pretty big spike. SWN, Sierra Whiskey November, slightly upward trending resistance line, big up there yesterday. This stock I would certainly be looking to not trade right now, because that is all the signs that it's going to continue to break through that resistance line and go north. So I would probably be looking to watch it over the next day or two. If you put in an entry point, then I might be more interested, but I still think that is probably going to break that resistance line. Then we have FIO, Foxtrot India Oscar. Nice downward trending resistance line there. Had a little bit of an up day yesterday. I'd prefer to see, as opposed to an up day like that, maybe today it puts in that doji here. Then that'd be a lot more entertaining to me. Remember folks, I keep saying this, but it's all about the entry points after you've got the rules down pat. November was mid-range. I didn't see really a huge reason to trade this. Not that I can see there anyway. Then we had NKE. NKE, so we got some resistance at the $55 mark. There has been upward trending support since mid-November, but you've got the 1 bounce, 2 bounces, 3 bounces, and it's put in a downward doji there as well. So a little bit of an indication of change of direction there. Okay, so that's NKE. Then we have ODP, and an upward trending support line, bounce, bounce, bounce. Some crazy activity here. That would probably make me not as overly excited to trade this, because of what's happened here. It's become pretty it was a very docile stock until that happened, so I don't know exactly what happened there, but it may be changing its personality a bit there. Then we have OMX, and again an upward trending support line, bounce, bounce, bounce. Yeah, you see, note ODP and OMX. I think they're in the same industry, and something happened in that particular industry around that particular time. You see that? How that was something in the sector that actually affected that, so something to be aware of there. It looks like it's carried on its merry way, but be interesting to see what happened in the office department there, or what have you, that sector. Then we had WINN, WIN, upward trending support line, bang, 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 sitting a little bit on that support line at the moment. Again, you'd have to use a stop order to trade that if you wanted to trade it. Zoom. Then we have NOC, upward trending support line here. Again, a few days on that support line. Yep, you've seen that before. Let's see, CVGW, resistance line at around about the 28.60 mark. You've got your 1 bounce, 2 bounces, 3 bounces, 4 bounces. It's a horizontal resistance line. Yeah, nothing you haven't dealt with before. Then I have INTC, downward trending resistance lines come up to. It's very docile stock. That's very, very docile. Okay, except for there, I suppose, but they gap down. You must have heard me saying I jinxed it. But yeah, it's come up nicely to that. It's put in a little bit of what they call a shooting star here, albeit still an up day. So yeah, INTC, CTSX. This is a downward trending stock. It's been upward trending since November. Longer term is down though. But this is as close to a perfect entry point as you're ever going to get. Yeah, it's come up, hit that resistance. The longer term trend is down. Pretty much textbook. Okay, then we have HD, Hotel Delta. This was mid-range. I'm hoping that this wasn't identified as a short, because obviously the entire trend is up there, so you would never take a short off that trade. Home Depot, though, I know a lot of people trade Home Depot recently through the group. Then we have NRG. NRG upward trending support line, but again I couldn't see a trade here because that's still upward trending, so I don't think it's in the position to trade for a long, and it's upward trending, so it certainly wouldn't be a short trade. Then we have NSC. Some resistance around about the 75. Looks like it has broken already though. It's come down quite aggressively. That could be a very nice trade. If anybody got into that trade, whoever announced it, I mean, it didn't give us a perfect entry point here like it has done before, but that has got a beautiful range in it, particularly if it's going down to the $57 mark. You could be on to make some real big money in that trade. But it's already gone, so if you're not in the trade, don't take it now. It's already gone. Then we have TER. Bounces along the resistance line at around about the 1760 mark. Just one thing I want to take you back, TER, NSC. What may be going through your head right now is you're sitting here looking at this and thinking, well, you know, you say it's already gone, which is fair enough. You can see it's got a decent range on it. But what would happen if the stock, like today, came back up here? Now, this concerns me a little bit, because if people are thinking, okay, well, if it comes back up, then I want to get into the trade. Yes, according to the rules, you can do that, but make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, not just because we've now identified there's a great range on here, because a very small difference. Very easy to identify what you need to do, but you know, you need to do it for the right reasons as well. Let's see. Then we had TER. TER. Yep, that we just looked at, the resistance around about the 1760 mark. Then we have TSCO. Not sure really if there's maybe a slight upward trending resistance line here, but yep. Again, I wouldn't be overly excited taking a short on that, because, well, obviously it's upward trending, so we want to go with the trade. We have X. Now this stock is interesting because it adhered very nicely to these bounces here, but then it actually broke through. So this is what we looked at, I think, last week, and it put in, as you can see here, it put in a textbook little doji here, and if you got into that, then it gone up and then it rallied back down, it sold back down and stopped a lot of people out. So I probably, you know, you can readjust it to maybe fit a little bit lower there, but I think it's maybe a little bit of a change of direction, a change of personality coming up there. Then we have NATR, and that's support around about the $13 mark. $13 hasn't come down yet. You could even, I guess, use a limit order if you wanted to, but yeah, it hasn't hit there yet. NATR. Then we have NE. NE, we have an upward trending support line here, so bounce, 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 bounce. It looks like it's broken that trend now. So you might want to be a little bit more reserved with it. I know the stock has made a lot of people a lot of money though, just trading that strategy. So that was NE, then we had NAFC. Again, the support line at around about the $19 mark. Yeah, it's interesting. The stock you see here, I mean, for like a good few months, actually held around that support line. Now, this is interesting for people who've said to me before, you know, we look at these stocks and sometimes they're just sitting there and bumble along. But then this one went from 1930, and that's when it rallied. You know, so sometimes, as I say, if you're in the trade, you've taken the risk already, so don't get out of it. Unless you can see a reason why you shouldn't have got into it. Then we have TRC, Tango Romeo Charlie, and a resistance line at about $31. I would still feel inclined to use this as my stop order though, so you might have to use a limit order as it came up here to reduce your ratios. But yeah, again, some pretty decent potential earnings on that. TRC, and then Joy. And that's an upward trending support line. Bounce, bounce, bounce. I think we probably missed it unless it came back down for another bounce. Yeah, no major issues there. So, okay, folks, I hope that's been helpful to you. And there's some nice looking stocks in there. So I just wish you an absolutely great weekend. And I will speak with most of you on Monday. So thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye bye.